Good evening, guys. We're at the end of the data engineering track, and we are here with the editorial board and one of the speakers of the track. And let's just cover a quick insight into what's happening in the track. So what do you guys think were the key takeaways as editors as part of the track? What did you find to be most interesting?
What would be most interesting is hard because probably there are quite a few things interesting and depends on where you're coming from. I think maybe what I liked is there was a strong emphasis on people who have actually gone and built stuff and learned from what they have built and iterated over it. For example, the Dream 11 platform talk was a great example where he went through successive iterations of what they've built. So I think that way I really like the practicality of what people had done, and the questions also kind of reflected that, right? Saying, okay, have you thought about this problem? Have you? So I felt that there was a really hands-on practical aspect to what was discussed today.
Awesome. Sandeep, what did you feel were some of the key takeaways or some future trends that were sort of expected or seen?
Yeah. So what I liked about the track is, we were able to get a good set of representative talks from different aspects. So it was not just the same thing repeated over and over again. So for example, in the content moderation, we learned about, how Google is solving problems at scale, given the lack of ground truth, the sparsity of signals, continuously facing an adversary who's adapting to the problems. So that was one talk I found interesting. The other was also the X-table talk, which is sort of more low level, which is talking about, how to migrate, how to keep data migration, allow data queries between different formats. So that was also an interesting talk.
Awesome. And Vishnu, you were one of our speakers for the track. Could you, show some or throw some light into what were the insights, or how did you find the whole experience to be a speaker on the track?
Yeah, I'm grateful for the opportunity, and it was a lot of fun, both delivering the session and preparing for the talk as well, the content. I think for us, personally, it was very interesting because whatever you build, it exists in an ecosystem, right? Like an ecosystem of builders and who make choices based on what's best for their stage, based on the constraints that they're operating under, the skill sets that they have available in their org. So it was, not just looking at a dry blog where someone says, hey, listen, this is just a diagram of my stack or this, but as Pramod mentioned, people talking through the growth pains, and nothing is a single shot 0 to 100, right? Like you go, you build something, it works well, things evolve, stuff grows bigger, it starts to hurt, and then you figure out what can I do better. So that's always very fascinating to learn. And I think we build tech infrastructure, infrastructure software, but it's people that build it, that use it, maintain it, and hopefully it makes some impact in their org or job, right? It's nice to always understand that ecosystem, and there's just so much exciting happening in that whole tech stack, right? Like the interplay between closed versus open, object storage sort of becoming more and more prominent in the talks that you could see. So it was very interesting for me personally.
Sunil, as the editor, we noticed that we went through a lot of rigorous rehearsals during the conference preparation. Do you want to maybe speak about that, your experience with that?
Sure. I think the submissions, there were quite a bit of submissions, and we had to reject some. That was the painful part. So because we don't know which good ones we are rejecting, but we had to take a call. And after that, multiple rounds of slides, improvements happening over time, right? And the other part, which also I liked, in this session, we had a data engineering track. It's not completely overtaken or eaten by AI. So we still have the, you can say, age-old data engineering, data platform building. So it still continues to exist, continues to be challenging, right, as things scale on. So it's good to have this track.
Awesome. I think that's the wrap on the data engineering track for the 5th DEL conference 2024. I hope all the learners had a great time, got some valuable insights, and see you at the next conference.